Oh look, water bear. Did y'all see that? I saw that water bear jump. What's going on, Turd Nerds? Matt here with Operator Mindset, and in today's video we are going to be going over the art of wasting. So yes, by the end of this video our plan is for all of you guys to have your white belts in wasting, have a very basic general understanding of why we waste, how much to waste, what's the purpose in doing it, and why it's all so important regarding your system. Now, in the video, we're going to go over all of that, plus what can happen if I'm wasting too much or not enough. Also, things you can implement, potentially it's your facility, to help improve your wasting rates, your wasting process, and overall process of your plant. At the end of the video, we're going to go outside. I'm going to actually change our system over, actually waste for you, allow you to see those solids leaving the system. And just as luck would have it, we had a little bit of a rainstorm and some grease has entered in from our collection system. So we're going to give a brief rundown on how to deal with grease problems if you have that. Seems to happen a lot here at this facility. Even if you have fog programs, public education events, all of that stuff can be helpful, but it's one of those things, nature of the beast. You're going to have to deal with grease at some point in your career. All that to come in this video. Make sure you give it a thumbs up and you're subscribed to the channel for more content just like this. Let's get into it. Alright guys, so the first thing we got to talk about is WAS, or WAS, or what do you call it, right? It's all wasting. WAS stands for Waste Activated Sludge. Wasting is going to be an operator's best friend. There is three primary things that you as the operator really have control over regarding your facility. We cannot control what's coming in, what's being flushed. We have no control over that. But what we do control, we can control how little or how much air we provide our bugs. We can control our biomass through wasting and through returning. And we can control our wasting rates. That being said, the art of wasting is finding that balance. Through wasting more or wasting less, we are balancing out our biomass and controlling how it is performing. Healthy biomass equals quality effluent. Happy bugs, happy operator. Now let's talk about biomass. You keep calling it a biomass. What is that? Simply referring to the mixed liquor. It's the mixture of the raw influent, your return, your bugs under aeration, all performing that activated sludge process. That's what the biomass is referring to. Balancing that biomass so that the raw influent, the food coming in, the biomass is there to consume that. If you have too little, it's not going to be enough to consume the food. If you have too much, you're gonna be underfeeding the bugs that you have in your biomass. Keeping control of that biomass is the art of wasting and finding that balance that works best at your facility. To find that center ground or that balance, we got to talk about the scale. The scale we're referring to can have very severe side effects and cause you as a facility to bust your permit or drastically decrease the efficiency of your process. The two ends of that scale we're talking about are not wasting at all or not wasting enough, and wasting too much or over wasting. Let's start with not wasting enough. What's that going to look like? Not wasting enough, you're going to notice color change. It's going to start going from that light brown that you like seeing to much darker colors. Darker grays, darker browns, darker blacks, and in some severe cases you're going to see massive amounts of dark black foam that start to form on top of your process, on top of that mixed liquor. As a result of that, your DO is going to plummet the more bugs you have in that system in your biomass, because you're not wasting, the more air they're going to consume, driving that DO down. Indications of older sludge are poor settling, solids, even potentially in some severe cases leaving over your weirs. Next, you're going to see your blankets start to grow, and you're also going to notice your return is going to be very, very thick. Regarding lab results that you may start to notice, your mixed liquor number is going to rise. Your mixed liquor volatile number is going to rise. Your sludge age and solids inventory are going to start to climb through the roof because you're not relieving that biomass. You're not wasting anything out of your system. It's just constantly growing. Finally, you're also going to see that F to M ratio start to plummet. Regarding that F to M, you got food coming in and you got this large mass of microorganisms that you're not getting rid of. You're not wasting out. So you have this large mass and not enough food to feed them. That's going to increase the count of microorganisms, driving that ratio down. Now let's talk about the other side of the scale. Overwasting, or wasting way too much. What you're going to see here is the absolute reverse opposite of most of those things. That light brown color you want to see in your basin is going to turn very, very light. In severe cases, you're going to start noticing a white frothy foam all across the top of your aeration basin surface. Because of this lack of microorganisms, because you're overwasting, you're putting out way too many bugs out of your system, the DO is going to skyrocket through the roof because there's nothing in there to actually take it in. You're going to see your blanket become very, very thin. Your return is also going to be extremely thin, returning back throughout your plant. Indication of young sludge is also very, very fast settling. Things you're going to notice in your laboratory and numbers regarding that, your mixed liquor numbers are going to start to drop. Your volatiles are going to start to drop. As far as your sludge age and solids inventory, both of those are going to be dropping. You are wasting too much. You are putting out way too many microorganisms. You're not allowing that biomass to balance out. Regarding your F to M, you're going to see that start to go up through the roof. You're wasting out so many microorganisms and the food coming in is not slowing down. You have an excess of food and not enough microorganisms in your biomass to be consuming it. It's going to cause you severe problems in your process, and overwasting can be just as lethal as not wasting enough. Now that we understand the scale and how that balances out, we have to find that balance, that middle ground that works best at our facility. That's our job as the operator, to help the plant perform at peak capacity to provide the highest quality effluent. Finding that balance through wasting more or wasting less is going to be very site specific. It depends on two things at your facility: the size of your plant, how much you're actually capable of treating, and the amount of biomass you're able to hold. And all that's going to be regulated by the quality of your influent. How much food do you have coming in? Those two factors, and being able to implement a wasting plan that benefits your plant the best. I know some of you are thinking, but Matt, just tell me when to waste. When do I waste, right? It's all site specific. And if we're gonna talk theory here, when should you waste? In theory, you should be wasting every day. Every single day you have food coming in. Every single day you should be wasting something out. That system is constantly growing and constantly evolving. So in theory, to answer your question, every single day. Do we do that here at this facility? No, we do not. We have a specific wasting schedule that we stick to majority of the time, but when the time calls for it, we can adjust that schedule to maybe increasing the amount we're wasting or possibly even decreasing the amount we're wasting. Let's go over some of the factors that we look at here and some of the process control tests that we run in order to adjust our wasting scale and find that balance. So here at this facility, we have 3 primary process control tests that we specifically use to adjust our wasting schedule or our wasting rates. Those 3 tests are your mixed liquor test. We also run the mixed liquor volatile suspended solids. I know that's 2 separate tests, but we're going to count it as one. Those 2 numbers, along with our settleometer test and along with microscopic analysis, gives us a very good overall picture of how we're settling, what the bugs look like, and an ideal number we strive to maintain that makes our process work as efficiently as possible. Using those 3 tests, we can adjust our wasting rates here to achieve the numbers we want and to put out the highest quality effluent. There's one more factor. If you don't have access to the microscope or to run a mixed liquor test, there's one more factor that we always take into account for, and that is me, or in your case, you, the operator. You going out on your basin daily, monitoring the mixed liquor, knowing what it looks like, looking at the color, looking at the foam, monitoring how thin or how thick my returns look. All of these things, you as the operator, are irreplaceable. I never go off just one laboratory test and make all these changes. I also use what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing outside in the plant, along with the results we're getting in here, to make the best quality decisions that are going to benefit our facility the best and put out the highest quality effluent. Because again, that is the goal at the end of the day. Let's talk about 4 quick things before we go out into the plant that you really need to remember and really need to consider regarding changes in your wasting schedule or implementing something new. It is number 1, it's always better to waste in smaller batches. You should waste smaller batches multiple times a week rather than one large wasting once or twice a week. The bugs and their ecosystem are fragile. While they can be resilient in some cases, that ecosystem is always going to respond better to smaller changes over time than large shock loads or large hits to it. Very important to remember. Number 2, don't change too much at once. Did you hear that? I said number 2. I'm sorry, my mind went elsewhere. Number 2, don't change too much at once. If I'm worried about my mixed liquor number or the organisms I'm seeing under the microscope, and I run out in my plant and I adjust my DO, I increase my wasting rates this week, and I bump down my return, well, by next week, I'm not going to know which change I made actually affected the process the way I wanted it to go. Make these changes and give them time to adjust. One change at a time, and good records keeping on your part as the operator is going to be key to you tracking how you're performing, how the plant is improving or declining, and being able to make changes to adjust it to get it where you want to go. Number 3, don't expect overnight results. The wastings I'm doing this week, I'm not going to see the results of that until the weeks to come. At least 10 to 12 days minimum. It didn't happen overnight. You're not going to fix it overnight. Making sure when you implement that wasting schedule, you are sticking to it. You're not going to see changes Friday that you just started making on Monday. While yes, there are certain things that may change and may show signs of change, overall, numbers you're trying to achieve, overall process parameters you're trying to achieve are going to take time. Making those small changes, good documentation, and giving it time to adjust is going to be key to any good wasting schedule. And finally, number 4, watch your peak flows. It's always best to waste when you are not in a peak flow event. If it's pouring down rain outside and you got millions of gallons coming through, I don't know why you're out there wasting, but if you are, be careful. Peak flow events are very site specific. Here at this facility, we see a rise first thing in the morning from people getting ready for work and school. We see a rise in the midday because people are out to lunch in town, and we see another rise in the evening when people are showering and getting ready for bed. In between that time though, our flows average out and they stay pretty steady. Luckily for us, right? If you don't have that, that's okay. You waste at the time when you are suspecting your flows are going to be their average daily range. That's going to give you the best quality wasting. It's not going to be too thin or more water than actual biomass. It's important to remember that when you're wasting, you are actually pulling from that bottom blanket. So it all falls back on the hydraulics. If you got a higher hydraulic load entering that clarifier, your blanket's going to stay lofted up. It's not going to be as thick and settled on the bottom which is in turn going to lead to less biomass leaving out when you're wasting. The more settled your blanket is, the thicker that blanket is, the better wasting you're going to get, the more biomass you're actually going to get out of your system. Now that we've covered all that, let's go out in the plant. We'll walk you through what it looks like when we waste here at this facility and let you actually see some of that biomass leaving out of our system and going into the digester. Let's head out there. All right, Turd Nerds, here we are out on the basin. We're about to waste for you. Wanted you to take a look at our basin right now. We're actually battling a little bit of grease. So there is going to be grease or lipids in and throughout your collection system, whether that's in your piping, whether that's in lift stations. Usually here at this facility, anytime we get a good solid rain, it cleans those lines, washes through some of them lift stations, and pushes that grease down here to us. So if you are battling something similar to this, or this, or this, let's talk about what you can do about it. Again, if you remember, the three primary things that we have control over at the plant as an operator is going to be our air, so how much air we are pumping to our bugs. We're going to have control over our biomass, that's what we want to maintain control over. One of those ways is through our return, which I'm about to show you here in a second. And then the other way we control that is through our wasting. So the answer to the grease problem, if you have grease starting to build up on top of your aeration basin, just like this, the way we counteract that is through wasting. Yes, you still don't want to over waste and deplete your biomass and cause you issues on your treatment process, but you can increase your wasting in order to get that grease out of your system a little bit faster. As far as what it's going to do to the process, here it really has no effect. It's something that we get wasted out of the system as quickly as possible. It is aesthetically unpleasing. We don't want to come out here and see a whole bunch of grease in our basin. This right over here, basin 2, it seems to carry a lot of the grease load whenever this does happen. When we go over to basin 1 to waste in just a minute, I'll show you there, there's very little grease at all on top of that. So for us here, what I may do is just waste this one extra day or for an extra 15 minutes during our wasting schedule in order to help some of this grease flush all the way out of the system. Now left untreated, if you just let it sit here and fester, it will continue to get bigger, it will continue to get darker, and it may eventually start to cause you issues, not just aesthetic issues, but possible issues with filamentous and other organisms playing a key role there. So the way we can counteract this grease hitting our system is through wasting. Prime example for today's video. All right, so here we are. I know it's going to be a little bit louder, but what we want to explain here is what we are actually doing. So right here, this is our return. This is what's drawing that bottom blanket off of the clarifier. You can see all the grease that's in it and in the basin. And it is constantly returning to the head of our plant, mixing with the raw influent coming in, and they're going back around the cycle. In order to waste, to remove solids, to help control that biomass, and yes, get rid of some of the grease we see in here, all I'm going to do today is swing this gate arm to this side. When I do that, it's going to then go down this channel and enter into our digester. Our digester is totally separate from our process in the aeration basin, and this is where we are holding the sludge. We are separating our biomass from our process and storing it here in the digester. Now, here in the digester, we're going to let it age out. Once you enter the digester, there's only two ways that you ever actually leave the digester and return back to the process or go out through the system, and that is through the decant. When we decant that clear supernate off the top of the digester, cut our air off, allow it to settle, and pump that clear liquid back over into treatment again, that's one way. And the second way is through dewatering. So anything that goes in here, all the solids that we retain and let to age, we send to our belt press and we press them out of our system before they go to the landfill. That is how we are controlling our biomass. Wasting, that's how we are finding that balance, and we're creating a high performance process in our aeration basin for our biomass by managing those solids and by getting those solids out of the system entirely. So I'm going to set you down, we're going to waste, I'm gonna show you exactly what that looks like. All right, so again, just so we're clear, right now, we are returning. It is going through this channel and returning to our aeration basin. I'm gonna swing the gate and we're going to the digester. Here we go. And just that simple. So I swung my gate over and now all my flow is going through that channel and entering into our digester. As you can see, our return line has slowed down. There's a little bit of leak by going through, but I've got this gate in place, pushing all the flow to the digester. Now you may be thinking to yourself, while I walk over here and start wasting out of plant 1, Matt, how do I know how long to do this for? How long should I be wasting? How are you, what are you going based off on? I'll answer that as soon as I walk past all the blowers and get to a little bit quieter area. And I lied, I really don't think it's any quieter. It might even be louder over here on this basin. We got an air valve over there open, but as I move to the side, maybe it'll get quieter. Oh look, water bear. Did y'all see that? I saw that water bear jump. Hopefully you're paying attention, you saw it. If not, rewind it. Make sure you're looking hard. To answer that question, the reason we know how much we're supposed to waste and how we actually run it here at this facility is extremely site specific. We have the measurements of our digester, the actual dimensions and the depth. Going off of those dimensions, we know that if we waste for 30 minutes, we are going to gain 1.5 feet of liquid in this digester. 30-minute wasting gives me 1.5 feet. That 1.5 feet is equivalent to 5,000 gallons. Now it's actually closer to like 4,780 something, but just to keep it easier on the math, because math is also not my specialty like most of you guys, we round up to 5,000, keeping track of that number. That number is what we then use in our calculations whenever I take a WAS sample and I need to know how many pounds I'm actually taking off my system. We probably need to do a video on that, don't we? Maybe one to come in the future. All right, so now that you know why I'm wasting for 30 minutes, and I know how much I'm actually getting out of that wasting by what my return is set to, it's pumping into my digester, I'm going for that 5,000 number. It's gonna give me 1.5 feet extra liquid into this digester in 30 minutes, and that's the number I'm shooting for. If I wanted to waste a little heavy, maybe on plant 2 over there to get some grease, I might waste plant 2 for 45 minutes and plant 1 for 30. That 45 number is gonna make it a 2-foot difference, and that's gonna come into play, those calculations, if I'm trying to figure out my poundage and how much I'm actually removing from my actual system to balance that biomass. I'm gonna quit talking now. I gotta get this one going so I'm not so off schedule. Give me 1 second. There you have it. All I did here, digester is over there. I swung my gate over, flow stops here. It's all going there. I run my timer, keep track with it. As soon as the wasting timer's up, I come right back out here, swing my gate back over, and we're good to go. Some things you're gonna notice while you're wasting, that hydraulic load, because right now you actually have solids leaving your system. You're gonna notice your plant flows decrease because the hydraulics have slowed down tremendously because you're not returning anymore. That's totally normal if you see that going on in your process. And if you're in a super big facility, you may not notice anything at all. But here at smaller facilities, we notice our flows almost drop to nothing while we're wasting, and as soon as we swap it back over in that return, that hydraulic load enters back into our system, flows go back to normal, they increase and regulate back out. There you have it, guys. Now that you've seen this video, you officially have your white belt in the art of wasting. Hope this was helpful. If it was, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Comment if you have any questions. We'll see you on the next one. Turd Nerd out.